You may have noticed that I rarely ever draw with pencils. Why is that? Hi everyone, I'm Daryl. In profession, I'm a concept artist who primarily works in Photoshop. My usual drawing process looks like this. As you've seen in my previous video, I do a lot of freehand sketches without draft. I also paint on canvases. But today, I have new tools in my hands. Here it is, color pencils. This is an art challenge. I'll attempt to complete an entire drawing using only the colored pencils. As a concept artist, I have to admit, I rarely use colored pencils. So the question is, can I create a good-looking artwork with them? Well, let's find it out. Keep watching. This piece took over 20 hours to complete. A thumbs up and a subscribe means a lot. And don't forget to hit the notification bell so you'll always catch my new videos at the first time.
First, let's take a look at this colored pencil set. This brand is called Warmer, and they sent me this product to try it out. The packaging is a simple metal tin with no excessive wrapping, clean and minimal. This is a 72 color set, and on the back there's some basic product info. Let's remove the paper sleeve. Wait a minute, there's a hidden color swatch inside the sleeve. That's a nice touch. I almost threw it away without noticing, but honestly, this should make it more obvious. Now, let's open it up. Wow, haha, that looks amazing. The vibrant colors are really eye-catching. The pencils are arranged in 2 layers, making them looking really neat and satisfying. Let me ask you guys, who doesn't love colorful and well-made art supplies? Checking out the pencil body. What a nice glossy texture. It has the brand name and logo printed on it. The plus symbol here represents its night fastness rating. Well, since I haven't used many colored pencils before, I can't say too much about the technicalities, but the quality feels nice in my hands. I've prepared 3 different types of paper to test how well these pencils blend and apply color. My usual sketchbook, it has a nice texture, but the paper isn't very durable, so it doesn't handle too much friction. Surprisingly, though, the color application looks pretty good. A dedicated pencil sketchbook. Medium coarse texture with a very grainy surface, making it highly resistant to erasing and blending. Not the best for highly detailed work. Regular print paper, it works, but let's be honest, you really shouldn't use print paper for color pencils. Overall, my impression is that these pencils are easy to layer and blend well. I also tried a different sketchbook. And look at this! The color saturation and the gradients feel so smooth and natural. Next, I'm going to fill in the color charts so I can see how the shades translate onto paper.
Yeah, I have finished this colorful chart finally. Man, that was tiring. I have to say I don't like this process, but anyway, at least it looks pretty good. Is there anyone who will resist this kind of colorful stuff? But for now comes the most valuable and wonderful part. Let's draw something with them. Hold on. Generally, I barely use the colored pencil for coloring. I might need to watch some tutorials before I start.
Study session complete. Time to get work.
As a person born in 90s, I was hugely influenced by the 90s animation. What's the perfect combination? Retro anime vibes, plus a cool girl, plus sci-fi elements. That's it. Alright, decision made. Let's get it started.
Let's get started with a rough sketch, using my mechanical pencil as usual. I'm keeping it simple, just a shooter-up portrait. If I try to fit a full-body figure and a background into this sketchbook, I'd be exhausted. Plus, a serious adult, this paper could handle tiny intricate details. By the way, can anyone guess Why you rarely see me using pencils? Well, there are two reasons. The one reason is pencils smudge way too easy. Everything gets messy, and my hands end up covered in graphite. The second reason is I mostly work digitally in Photoshop. And when I use a sketchbook, it's usually for quick expressive sketching. I don't like dealing with the hassle of pencils, but I have to admit, pencil shading is amazing. Since Warmer sent me this colored pencil set to test, I figured, why not? I'll treat this as my own art challenge. Have you ever had that moment when you realize you've been doing the same thing over and over? Drawing the same subjects, using the same tools. Stepping outside your comfort zone once in a while is important. What do you think? Alright, the rough sketch is down. Let's clean it up a little with an eraser. Looking good. Although I have to admit, making adjustments along the way was frustrating. Ladies and gentlemen, the moment of truth has arrived. I'm about to start coloring. The most exciting part is here. Step 1. Base colors. At first, I'm extra careful with my strokes, applying color lightly. I'm worried that if I pick the wrong color, it will be hard to correct. This is especially true for the face, where mistakes are much more noticeable. You will notice I'm leaving out the highlight areas, just like in watercolor painting, where you preserve the white of the paper. If you cover everything with color, the only way to bring back the highlight is to use acrylic paint on top later. To create subtle skin tones, I'm blending a few similar shades together. The same techniques applies to the hair. I'm using a yellow base, which is a classic color choice in 90s anime, but this is just the base layer. The final hair color will lean more towards an orange-yellow hue. There's something therapeutic about gradually filling the paper with color. Watching the black-white surface transform little by little is incredibly satisfying. I also love the texture that colored pencil creates on paper. It has a unique charm. Right now, the color looks too light, right? No worries. Colored pencil work layer by layer. Never go into too heavy on the first pass, unless you're absolutely sure of the color. It's always best to leave room for blending. This takes a lot of patience. Now onto the helmet. This is tricky. The structure has multiple transitions, and the details are complex. I want the base color to be a warm, slightly desaturated tone, while also maintaining a vintage yellowed effect. Balancing this is challenging. I feel a bit nervous as I feel in this area. There's still a lot of uncertainty. The same goes for the clothing. Fortunately, I've decided to make the fabric red, so I'm carefully layering lighter tones first before increasing saturation. Now that the base colors are established, it's time to build up depths. For example, the lips. Just a small touch of color can be a game changer. I also increased the hair saturation and darkened some parts of the helmet. For digital artists, this process can feel unusual. In Photoshop, you can instantly test colors, but with colored pencils, it's a gradual discovery process. The sleeve area gets a light warm base, though I plan to deepen the color later. Now let's go back to the face and blend in a second layer of color. I'm adding more reds, pinks, and oranges to enhance the shadows. A more saturated red for the lips, and suddenly everything comes to life. One important thing to remember when coloring: follow the direction of the object's form. If you scribble rapidly, it will ruin the final work. Alright, highlights time. Let's define the eyes. Carefully layering and blending colors to add more depth. As the eyes become more detailed, the character's appeal increases instantly, right? At this stage, I'm also introducing darker values to improve contrast and balance. Before this, everything was too light, making the drawing feel weak. Now the form and structure are starting to feel more solid. Look at my desk. The number of pencils keeps increasing. That's a good sign. It means the color depths and details are improving. Here's something I've realized. Blending color manually requires experience. You have to intuitively know which colors will mix well to create the effect you want. So, if you want to get good at colored pencil art, dedicated color blending exercises are a must. I also noticed that the saturation of the lower part of the outfit is too weak. Solution is add more layers. Compare before and after. You see the difference, right? Adding depth and adjusting colors is a constant process. For shadows, never use plain black. Instead, mix in different deep tones to keep the shading dynamic. At this point, I'd say the drawing is about 50% complete. The overall structure is clear, but there's still a long way to go. This phase is a real endurance test. It takes so much time to refine details. What do you guys do during the long coloring sessions? Do you listen to music? Chewing gum? Personally, I listen to podcasts to pass the time. Let me know your habits in the comments. Honestly, my left hand keeps wanting to press keyboard shortcut of the habit. If only there were a command to instantly adjust the contrast right. Digital art definitely has its advantages. That said, I still love the tactile feel of the colored pencil on paper. It's the unique charm of traditional tools. Each has its strengths.
Oh, my neck is hurting like crazy. Since I started drawing, I think I'm roughly 70% done by now, taking me around 6 hours in total. At the beginning, looking for this corresponding colored pencil was kind of like time-consuming, but after a bit familiar with these colors, it seemed to get better. And now I'm stopping and I need to think about how to finish this work better.
Now, I'll take a photo and blend into Photoshop to analyze the grayscale balance. Looking at it in black and white, I realize the contrast is too weak. The helmet, face, and the body are all blend together too much. By darkening the helmet, body, and hair, we can enhance the contrast. See the difference? The depth and separation are much clearer now. Let's refine the drawing accordingly. At this stage, my brain is looping one word. Deepen, 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 deepen. Layer by layer, I'm pushing the values further. Now for the background. Larger areas like this would be faster with watercolors, but since we are sticking with the color pencils, we'll build it up gradually. Compare again. See the improvement? The composition feels more balanced now.
Do you think this is the end? No. This is not enough. My feeling is that I want the completion of this drawing to be a bit higher. And in place like the helmet, I need to add some more details. The problem is, I find this sketchbook isn't particularly suitable for the colored pencil. It can't handle the finer details. So, my decision is,
Finer details need the finer niner pen. Time for outlining. Because of the paper texture, some fine details can't be fully refined with just layering. And if you review 90 anime, bold black outlines were a signature style. So, let's bring out that retro look. Outlining is simple but powerful. It sharpens the forms, enhances the structure and depth, creates a crisp, finished look. Look at the helmet. Bold outlines immediately add clarity and weight. Then using an acrylic marker for adding some highlights, and finally, it's done.
That was an intense challenge. For my first time using colored pencils, I think it's pretty decent. What do you think? Maybe I'll start incorporating the colored pencils into my sketching workflow, or even mix them with watercolors for better effects. If you are interested in colored pencils, why don't you give them a try? Alright, that's all for today. I'm Daryl, your go-to sketching coach. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.